So thank you all for attending and for listening. So yeah, this is our first keynote, and we will.
We will have a little challenge to keep you awake, right? We all had a very nice lunch. Maybe the volume is too high. It's good. Maybe low. Good. So actually, we are going to work a little bit, but you will work as well. And this talk will come equipped with exercises for you guys. So you will have a chance to make hands-on exercises.
Yeah, and it will keep you awake after lunch. So we will just jump right into you. And I'm sorry, it was a joke. Yeah. So we will just jump into it, and we want to ask about you. So if you look back into the last 2 days at the conference of Agile Testing Days and also to other conferences, do you remember a very smart idea, a very great idea that you learned at the conference? Please raise your hand. Okay, not so many. Okay. So if you think about another smart idea that you maybe had at your own or at another conference, did you try to apply it to your working environment back home, to your team or to your company? Oh, that's more. Great. And last question is, and try to be very honest, so it's a secure place, no one is listening, no. Do you think it was successful? Okay, not so many. I think we have a case here with our topic, and we wanted to tell you how we started with the talk. So I met Alex in 2009 on the first Agile Testing Days. This was on the Freie Universität with, I think, only 100 people. And we shared since then our ideas and challenges. We never worked in a company together, but we always were like, testing buddies. So, and in 2013, on the Agile Testing Days, we made 2 observations. There are not that many pair presentations, except for Janet and Lisa's. And we see in our working environment and what we doing every day. So we collaborate, we have dailies together, we work as a team. And if you go to a conference or a talk, you have one person talking to you, you're listening, and then you go home. You have a great idea or not, so you learn something or not. But it's not really about collaboration, and Agile is all about collaboration. And the other thing is we observed that there were a lot of success stories. So even I had the feeling it is a little bit polished. So, and what we have experienced, we failed a lot, and like a lot. And this is our usual success. So, and it's always the saying, fail fast, fail often, and we achieved that a lot. So, and this is actually how our challenge came. And we prepared the talk and realized that we have one big problem in common.
Yeah, so we skipped a few sessions as the last Agile Testing Days, and here we see the original pictures. We wrote a lot of post-its, had ideas, and we were brainstorming. And then we actually really pitched to you and sold you the idea. Thanks you for accepting that. First acceptance criteria met, right? We worked on a talk and we tried to interact. Yeah, we see it afterwards. There are a couple of more acceptance criteria. But first one was, we are able to sell it to someone, right? In case no one finds this idea interesting, well, then we would have failed. So the challenge that we both shared was the one we asked you about. So we learned about a lot of smart ideas, and we were very eager to apply them in our environment. We went back and then we tried it, and we tried to be the happy unicorn, right? But quite often it was looking a bit different. We came back with a very great idea. We tried to apply it, to establish it, to implement it. We were fighting and working very, very hard on it, and actually we failed, right? So we struggled. We modified our approach. So we tried to use a different strategy, a different path to our goal, and we failed. Let me explain you one of my failure stories. It all started with the Agile Testing Days. I think it was the first one. And Elizabeth Henriksen was sharing the idea, you should not have any tools which are only for testers, right? Maybe a couple of you know this, remember this blog post? And she was really insisting on don't have a tool which is only for testers, like HP Quality Center, right? And there are a lot of good arguments for it, like it will block collaboration because only testers will work with it, and actually the others, they don't ever have a chance to see it, right? And I thought, great idea. And actually, we have something similar in our company. And actually, we had TestLink. So I came back to my company, and I tried to tell them, we shouldn't use this kind of tool. It doesn't help us, right? It's blocking our collaboration. And I was very, very enthusiastic about it. The perception in the QA team was not as positive, right? They had been a bit skeptical about it. Some people, maybe they thought more, okay, why? But they were not enthusiastic. Some people actually thought it's a stupid idea. No, why we should do so. And actually they had been very, very fond of all the knowledge that was stored in the system, right? There had been some jewels. And I wanted to take away this one, right? This for them it was crazy. Okay, we went on, and actually it took 30 days, maybe even 60 or something like this. And in the end, we really got rid of the tool, surprisingly, but we got rid of the tool. But what actually happened is a few of my colleagues said, okay, that's good. We now have a much better approach. We started, for instance, to store our test plans and the results actually just in a wiki. And we had a wiki, and everyone could see the results. We were no longer hiding those. Of course, we did not double-check metrics like, are people actually reading that, right? Maybe it would have been a good idea, but we didn't went into that. So actually, designing the tests for such a change first would be a very good idea. There are a lot of nice changes where I still struggle to find some good means to think about tests first. But actually, most of the other guys, they saw it was a stupid idea. Wow, that was bullshit what Alex did there. But it just took me 2 years. Sometimes I'm not the quickest learner on earth. And after 2 years, I realized this wasn't a good change. In the beginning, I was very fond of this one. I was very proud. I achieved that one. And it brought us closer. But actually, it wasn't. And when we prepared this talk, I learned actually that we did a lot of pairing, right? And I learned this might not be the smartest question to ask. It would be much better first to look at what happened without the emotions. And for instance, I came up with an idea to remove a tool, and we achieved this goal. So the change was effective because we achieved the target. The funny thing was the tool would have been removed anyway. It died in the meantime because basically the machine it was installed on was already gone. Right, so actually I was fighting a fight which was over before I was starting, right? But the sad thing about it, I'm already assigning a value to it in emotion. Okay, what happened is that the collaboration with the other QA guys, actually the relationship became a bit weaker. And this hindered a bit the collaboration in the future. With some of them, not with others, but with some of them. So I could no longer perceive it as being a very, very positive change that I made in my life. Why do I remember it? It's like I really had to think about it. For me, one aspect is, right, it connects me, for instance, to this conference. Because it was the first time I went out, there had been a lot of other people with very smart ideas, and I learned so many smart ideas I wanted to bring back, and I failed. That's maybe why I remember this one. But also, like, I actually aimed for improving collaboration, and I harmed it at the same time, right? Which is pretty bad. I wanted to do something good and did something very, very bad. And how to avoid it was my question, but maybe it's much better to think about this way. What I learned from that, and what I learned from it is we better try to actually talk about the problem together, identify the problem together, establish that it's well understood, right? Especially that the impact is understood. Otherwise, we will not have any buy-in to change it. And also, especially when the topic is around collaboration, I should not focus on my goal. We changed this tool, right? I was just focused on that one. We achieved that one, right? I was in this kind of robot mode, but actually it was about relationship. And I harmed the relationship by trying to this goal, which is really crazy. And of course, a lot of this is about communication and listening, and communication and listening.
Yeah, and funny is that even if I have never worked with Alex in one company, I had a similar problem with a similar story where I had a similar problem with Lego. So any Lego fans in the audience? Good. Yeah. So you probably will like that idea. So I had once this great idea that in that team I was an Agile coach, and we're introducing Kanban. And to pep the Kanban board up, we had these nice Lego figures. So it was an idea that you have a pin and a Lego figure. So you could have crazy heads on it, or like this princess on a surfing board. We had wizards, we had soldiers on a bike, constructors, mermaids. And every one of our team members built their own Lego avatar. And the idea was also to make it more visible on the Kanban board who is on vacation, who's sick, who's working on which story is very important, and maybe no one is working on it. So I went to the team, and I already was in the Lego store and made a lot of kids jealous by buying like a box full of all these little pieces. And the team was really enthusiastic about it. Oh yeah, let's put our Lego figures together. And some of them said, oh, it's a little bit stupid, but okay, we do it. And yeah, so we started the process, and yeah, like just 4 days later, the team was standing in the daily and said, no, it's not working for us. So the first thing was the Kanban process is not working for us. And the second thing was your avatars. So they said, your avatars are not working for us. It's not digitally trackable, and we cannot see really. So all this transparency did not work for them. And I was very self-confident and said, well then. And in the inside, I was really sad, went home and thought about it. Okay, what can I do? And do they really don't like Lego? Everyone likes Lego like you are. So, and what actually happened on a rational basis? So I introduced Kanban. I introduced the board. I made everything beautiful and nice, and a good basis to make everything more transparent. And I introduced the Lego avatars. So what the team did is they built the Lego avatars themselves. They choose to be a wizard or a mermaid. And then the team used it, and the team dropped it. And after that, we found a task force to improve our process. So everyone on the team was invited to create the process. And why do I remember it? So I'm still very convinced that this is a great idea. So maybe in a smaller team, or I will try it again to have this working. It's yeah, and I'm still sad about it because we had like vacation islands, like sitting on the beach, and we had an island for people who were sick, and it was such fun to put them around. And it's for me, it was really to visualize, yeah, who's there, who's not. But the team was actually not switching the figures around. So if I do that all the time, and then I was on vacation for 1 day, so it was not having anything on the board. So, and then my learnings about it is, first of all, Lego is not for everyone. So it's for some people, Lego is it's not kindergarten, so it's a serious working environment. We cannot put figures around. That's not working. It's not serious. So, and the other learning is that I should have introduced the idea together with the team before even spending so much money at the Lego store that I'm now Lego VIP member. So, and we should have tested it before. So just 2 figures, trying out how it works with the hot glue and with the pin. Just try it out a few times. Is it working? Is the pin working? Is the user story card right working? Is it too thick? And the next learning is really that the team creates the process and not the process, the team. So I should, the most learning was the productive task force, that the team was going to decide on their own. So no, we want to go back to Scrum. It's working better for us. It's working also for the product owner better. And we want to decide what we want to visualize, and we want to go digital so that we are more able to track our code in Jira, for example. Yeah, and from this struggle, and we actually fail, even if it's very good and smart idea, we found out that we wanted to share our recipes. So we were preparing this talk over 1 year, and so we wanted to have a change cookbook for you. So have a beer with your colleagues, talk about it, use the communication as a frustration channel. Then read all these smart books. They will help you to get the smart idea better, to give you some checklists. And so actually it's not working for us. And so you can try it again. So the trying is good, but there's no such change cookbook. And during our preparations, we were sitting in the meeting room, and Alex was telling me about his hobby. So he's practicing Aikido for a while, and then he was explaining an exercise to me. And we moved around the room, and thought, okay, what's that? Then I was a little bit irritated and wondered what had happened. And then I had my aha moment about it. So what Alex was trying to do is he wanted to change the process, how we prepared the talk. And what I actually did, I changed my perspective and changed into the perspective of the team. So I was irritated. Okay, there's this crazy woman with all these Lego figures, or there's this crazy guy who wants to get rid of a tool we really need. And so this is my aha moment, and it was actually also a moment for Alex that he was introducing something to me, and we will share exactly that with you.
So this will mean it will be time for you to make your own experiences, right? Because we can tell you a lot about what it means, how a beer tastes and stuff like this, but actually you will have to drink it yourself to figure it out, maybe a couple of those. Well, this will mean you will have to exercise, you will have to stand up, you will have to move around. So we'll do some kind of dojo exercise. I spent a lot of time in my life in a dojo, actually with Aikido. So dojo, it's a Japanese term, means literally the training hall where you practice a martial arts. But of course we know it quite well as a safe place to practice a new skill, and there are nice examples like the coding dojos that we know for a while, and there are now coaching dojos, and we see testing dojos happening. And now we are going to make another kind of dojo with you guys. So it's time for you.
Yeah, so please stand up. You can use the space here in the middle. You can use also the space here, and some left and some of the right side. And we promise that no Agile tester will be harmed. So it's it's after the non-violent principle. So
you could practice some of those Brazilian kicks, but maybe we leave that out for a minute.
Okay.
Wow.
So here's a lot of space still.
You're great, guys. Come to this, fill up the front. There's a lot of space over there. You can fill the middle and see.
Okay, thank you.
You're awesome.
Great. So make sure that you have a space like that. A little bit.
And don't
Great.
hit people right now, please, not without intention.
I will not invite you anymore.
That's okay.
We didn't kick you so far. Good. Now, please choose a very nice partner and
So-
say hello to him or her.
Just the one next to him. Great.
So this will be your training partner for the exercise. So be thankful that you have one, because you will make your own experiences together and you will depend on your cooperation. And now, for the remaining, we are going to do... Don't hit it right now. Later. Okay. We're going to do the following. There will be 2 exercises. And of course, actually, there's a full series of exercises. We concentrate on 2 of those. We will do it as follows. We first will show the first exercise together. Then you will have time to practice. We will start every round with a bell. And then you will can practice this 3 times. We will ring the bell again. And then we introduce a second exercise. Do it again like that. Then you will thank your partner again, because it's very important, right? We start something, we should have also something to end it up. In martial arts, it's very, very important. All these kind of ceremonies are there for a very good reason. We create a relationship, then we also have to be thankful for this kind of gift that the other one provides. Good. Let's turn to the first exercise. We do it as follows. So,
We have Fanny here.
and Alex. So I am selecting a spot approximately 2 to 3 meters away from Fanny. Then I go to her, and actually it involves a bit of touching. I will touch her. And then I try to bring her to the spot that I selected beforehand. And then you start again, right? Because you will do it 3 times. That means you select a new spot, and then you start again, and then maybe this next time will be more, whoops, funny. And you will do it 3 times. Good. And now, time for the bell. And your own exercises. Have fun.
Hab schon gepostet, ne? Dass ihr lasst die Leute nicht einschlafen.
Sehr gut.
Okay, thank you very much. A big hand to everyone.
Good. And now let's come to exercise number 2. We modify the setting a little bit. So again, I choose a spot 2 meters away. I go to Fanny, but now, actually here is some kind of drawing, right? I select the spot. Then I go... Oh yeah. Yeah, you're right. Because this would be the right one. And now I change my perspective, right? Because I go to Fanny, we take the same perspective, we look to our spot, and then we go together to our spot. Well, that's the exercise. There's something to watch out for, right? Still, we're looking to the same direction, but maybe it will not be trivial, right? So maybe you find out, oh, it's not working. React on that, right? Take this kind of feedback, take it as something valuable, and then, okay, slow down, start again, build a connection, relationship, and then start walking again. Have fun.
Okay.
Was, die machen alle mit? Das ist super.
Das ist der Reicher wieder. Das ist der Reicher.
Ah. Motivation. Ja.
Oh, hi. Yeah, you're welcome.
Oh, that's creative. Cool.
Okay, thank you. Big hand. Now, look your partner into the eyes, say thank you, and just before you sit down, we want to make the feedback session now. So, there's always a retrospective, right? So, if you think of effectiveness in getting to your target, who thinks exercise 1 was more effective? Hey, okay. And who thinks that exercise 2 was more effective? Oh, I'm glad we expected that. And who thinks there was no difference at all? Okay, fair enough. And now more on an emotional level, who thinks that exercise 1 felt better? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Not share too much information about it. Yeah. So who thinks exercise 2 felt better? Okay. Very good. And who felt no difference? Okay. You again. Okay. So we now you can sit down. So thank you very much. That was awesome. So now we can relax and join some theory about it.
Yeah, so now it's for us time to work again. So why is this helpful for us, and why we hope that it will be helpful for you? So basically, I practice stuff like this all over again, over years. Actually, nowadays, over more than 20 years, exercises like that. And of course, this one, it doesn't look like it's coming from a martial arts context, right? It doesn't look like that any longer. But it's a good step to do something very similar in a martial arts context, right? In case I cannot do something simple as that, how would it work like in case Fanny would like to kick me and I would like to do it as well, right? So this is a very good first step for some things. For me, this is also a very good mental model. So actually, I was playing, in this sense, the role of the coach, and Fanny was playing the role of the team. And I selected the target where we go to. Right? And of course, every model has limitations, for sure. Every time it's an oversimplification. Who knows the technique to read the room, right? I think a lot of people heard about that. When you enter a meeting room, you see how the people are locating each other, and you see this one guy sitting in a corner, very grumpy, taking a long distance to the other, right? You probably are aware of what's going on, or it might have a very valuable hint. So for me, this one is also a tool like, when I see people interacting, I try to model it in my head a bit like that. So this is what helps me to understand better what's going on. And of course, we wanted to achieve this number 2 field much better. Of course, here it's like I, as a coach, I go to the team. I try to understand the situation at hand, the viewpoints, the problems, right? We would like to share the experience, share the pain. And then we go to the target that I selected. So there is still something which is very weird in what I said, right? That was I selected a target. And this brings us to looking more about the option space and the solution space. And that's where maybe the model gets a bit more complicated, but maybe also more helpful. So I, as a coach, I have here some kind of cone. That's the cone of options I see, right? So we have the solution space. The team has a solution space as well as the other one, the upper one, and those ones overlap, but of course, unfortunately, they're not identical. That's really a pity. They're not identical. And this means we have some area here in the middle where we could agree on, right? There we have a shared solution space, and the other areas are actually more, an area of frustration. For instance, in case I, as a coach, think about, we should do test-driven development for everything, and the team is not ready for it, then either I will not be able to convince them, or I try to convince them, maybe we get started, but maybe we will fail miserably, right? So we have to be very conscious about the choice of options. There is one other nice point about that. It's like the technique I just learned actually last week, was like, let's assume the estimation story. Let's assume Fanny is asking me for an estimate. And I say, yeah, this will take 80 days. And Fanny will say, it's crazy. We could never, ever tell this to a customer. There's one nice trick. I write down this number on the sheet of paper. Then I go with this one to Fanny and say, we take the same viewpoint and we say, this is the estimate, but we have to do it this way. So this is our estimate. And you know, it's stupid. I hate it. No, I would love to present something like 10, right? But it's like, that's a number that we have. You observe what's happening? Now we work together on solving that problem. It's no longer, I'm here, I presented this number is perceived as being stupid, right? Because then it's, funny enough, it's the following one, then it's me, which is now Fanny's problem, and I'm Fanny's problem. No. The estimate was our problem, right? So we would like to change the situation quite a lot, that we make problems our problems and not attaching problems to people.
So, and exactly so when Alex just said the estimation and attached this to him, it got very personal. So, and you feel that as a frustration. So some people feel it here as a gut feeling, and this is a very valuable indicator. And you normally ignore it. So, for example, with you may remember our no recipes. So have a beer, so you can totally ignore your frustration by drinking a beer, and it's and we tried over the last year not to do that and use it as a channel, and also to ask ourselves by using the questions we introduced to you in our stories. So what actually happened? Why do I remember it? And there the frustration indicator is really important. And what did I learn from it?
And let's just ask one other question. Regarding the exercise that you just did, who felt some kind of irritation or frustration? That's not really working for me. Anyone? No one? Okay, that's good. Maybe pretty awesome. When I practice martial arts, right, it's actually so important all the time, because we will fail quite often. And then I have to use the feedback. All the time I have to double check whether I'm able, I have the connection, and then we could move together. And it's very, very important that I understand the slightest signs of that, right? I cannot wait after half an hour to see an impact. No. Because when martial arts context, when I see the impact 10 seconds later, the other one is laying on the floor, or I'm laying on the floor. No, I want to perceive it beforehand, right? In case we have a distance of gap of a few millimeters. We have to react very, very early. And there's something related to pace as well. And currently the model was static, right? And static is stupid because actually we are moving. So in case I ask Fanny to move, and I, as a coach, join her, and we have the same viewpoint, and I select the space, and then I go there, then we are pretty disconnected. So that means also with the model, it will be very important to understand the pace of the team. I cannot work with the team as a coach, as a change agent, in case, maybe do it, I take your speed, when I'm not approaching the team and select the team's speed, right? Then I would always be too fast. Maybe in case we already have the connection, then we could, with the connection, become faster, right, later. But for sure, I will not be faster in case I just run away, right, because I will not have the connection. For sure, then I would have to go back, re-establish it, right, and it makes all far more complicated. So, as you already know, for us, we wanted to share some recipes, so at least we have some giveaways for you. So try it, do not avoid it. So if you want to try it out with Lego, let me know. So, and listen to feedback of your team members, of your managers, of your colleagues, and even of your friends. And listen first of all to yourself. So go with your gut feeling. And for me, it was always very hard to learn from a situation. So what do I can really take from it?
And this, the last year I found these 3 questions very helpful, and I learned that from my coach Anne. So if you want to get in contact with Anne, so come to me after the session, I give you her details. So the most important thing that was really groundbreaking for me, after I put together all my learnings, the most challenging thing is to forget about the situation, especially if you're personally attached to it. So I try to put it in a box and put it in the basement, for example, just as a mind game. And then it's much easier for me to try again. And these giveaways also, I think these are the most important things if you are working as a change agent.
Yeah, and for me it was like 1 year ago I was in a situation that I've now felt much better, that I'm not feeling quite well in my work environment. Wasn't feeling well with the situation at hand, right? So it means for me I was coming back to my feelings and my frustration. I felt so much better. Actually, someone else coached me, and we found out I should do something else. And it was actually doing more coaching and teaching in the company. And then, of course, everything was very, very unclear. And then someone said to me, it will be a leap of faith. When you like it, it will be good. There are a lot of people supporting you, right? There will be a rescue net, but still it will be a leap of faith. There will be risk and there will be fear, but it's part of the business. And I should just approach it and not avoid it. We found a very nice quote on Twitter about some recipes that might help you, right? 2 smart people here in the room gave this one, and Alex tweeted it like, what really helps is to have a buddy to really tackle a big challenge, right? For sure, we wouldn't have tried to tackle this one without doing it together. And we learned quite a lot during that year. So at least this one was worth to try it.
So thank you very much for your attention and for your participation. We were really overwhelmed that you all participate in the exercise. And we are now can take some questions if you want. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So, questions? Any questions?
Thank you.
Yeah, one question there.
Stefan.
Okay.
Thank you very much for the presentation. I found that pretty impressive.
Thank you.
Especially the exercise. Now, this may seem like a bit, funny question, but I tried to, implement my learning or my insight immediately. Is anybody of you willing to pair with a super agile person on a proposal for a session for next year's Agile testing days? Talk to me at any time. Is anybody willing? No one is.
Sure. So
I will accept that.
Yeah.
I will accept the, no, I will not do it with you. I will accept the proposal, I will say, okay? So,
I think this is
if
a great
anyone wants to do it with him, okay?
I think this is a great step.
I will
right?
pay for that.
I think Lisa and Janet experience something else. Preparing something together really helps a lot, right? And it helps it to bring it to another level. Because also when we do it for programming, right, just for programming, we do it because it has a value. We just don't do it just for fun, right? It has a value, and then it would be very ironic in case we don't see the same value when we do it for talks, sharing ideas.
I'm sorry, place is gone.
He wants to do it with you.
Well, someone else was faster than them.
Ah, okay.
You could work with
Send a
those guys.
paper. Okay. More questions, guys. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
I give you now the present. Just a short story. When I was working many years ago in a project, we were always looking for Manfred. Okay, where's Manfred? Because Manfred was never there. Okay, the same happened with the car. So the Wikispeed car is there. Okay, so congratulations, guy. You can work now. Okay, thank you very much.